Hello, and welcome to another episode of Honest to a Malt with myself, Duncan Donuts, seemingly slightly blocked up with a cold, and Mike, known as Whiskey Wings.
Hello.
How you doing, Mike? You all right?
Very good. Containing laughter from a little in-joke just before we started recording, which was always a bad idea because I just keep chuckling. I think I've put my back out giggling. I can't repeat what the joke was, what it was about, even in the rough ballpark, because I enjoy doing this podcast.
Very good. So what's the name of the episode today?
We are episode 72, and it's Smokey and the Banditti.
Smokey and the Banditti. Now, if we laugh randomly during this pod and you feel like it's not connected to anything we said, it's because we're still laughing at the joke talking about before the pod. So just apologies in advance. Also, Mike did an impression of Conor McGregor before this that sounded more like Dara O'Brien, which also had me laughing.
I'll fight you. That's back on point. That's more Conor McGregor.
Yeah. It's because he's just launched a proper 12-13. He's about to launch a proper 12-13-year-old whiskey. So it's proper 12-13, which is obviously genius.
Maybe it's a proper whiskey for once because the other stuff was utter fucking shite.
It's got to be Bushmills again, isn't it? I would have thought.
God knows the last stuff was like drain cleaner. Awful.
Yeah, but it's still a cheap-ish whiskey, isn't it? I mean, of course you could.
It was free. I would still pour it down the sink.
You could have
shite.
You could have cut your site Prohibition for like 27 quid or 26 quid, or you could have proper 12 for 25 quid or whatever.
Funding a little fucking lunatic.
No brainer. Yeah. Cool. So the episode today is we have been sent some rums from Glasgow Distillery. Now, we're not really rum fans.
Or not drinkers, should we say?
Yeah, we're not rum drinkers really. I mean, we tried some rums. We've had the odd good one.
Yeah.
So these are called Banditti. So it's Smokey and the Banditti because we both like Smokey and the Bandits. We're going to talk a bit about our favourite car chases in movies whilst we try the rums. But before we get to that, what's been in your glass and what's been up your arse, Mike?
So what's been in my glass this week is I've just cracked open a Penderyn single cask port cask bottling. Picked it up at auction. Finally frigging got hold of one at a decent price. This was like a weird New Zealand export. It went to a company called Whiskey Brother & Co. One of 265 bottles, 60.1%. It is
strong,
like just beautiful. Like it smells like a cheese board on the nose and loads of chutneys and things, and then just so much going on. Like I need to actually sit down with it and go through with water and things. What else I've actually had a good old drink of is the new Bimber Oloroso.
Okay,
club bottling, really decent. Just the usual Bimber notes, but with like salted caramel cheesecake thrown in as well.
It's about 75 quid, that wasn't it? I think.
Yeah, I sort of ummed and ahed and I was like, do you know what? I haven't bought a bottle of Bimber
I was the same.
I
ummed and ahed, but I feel like I should have probably bought it.
Yeah, just as a little show of solidarity or whatever with Matt. Yeah, so that bottle was bought specifically for Matt. Not the brand, just for Matt.
Just for Matt.
Just for Matt. Yeah, it's really, really good. So glad I bought that one. And what's been up my arse? What has been up my arse? Local chavs, really. Two little wankers with catapults have decided to smash about 18 different windows of premises in my town. And I'm like, you don't see the impact of it. And I'm like, right, I'm hunting them now. So I'm watching. I'm looking for you. I'm out there. That's really fucked me off. Like, I've got some enemies. I'm just trawling social media looking for like pictures of their mum, if I can link it back to one of them somehow, and then look for their auntie.
Do you know who they are?
Backtrace. I got an idea.
All right. Okay.
Yeah. Okay. Your time will come, little boys. That could be taken out of context.
You could be catapulting yourself to local fame for bounty hunting these two.
Or notoriety, maybe.
Scallywags. Well, good luck.
It goes in line with what you said last week with the old rise in graffiti. This generation of teenagers aged around sort of 14 to 16 are wankers.
They don't seem to care.
No, not all of them. That's wrong. I'd say you're either a wanker or a bit of a recluse. There seems to be very little in the middle. Yeah. This is where you've hit that complete generational gap because I really don't.
I think the difference is these days. I think people got up to mischief back in the day, but they were more scared about the ramifications of whatever they'd done, and they weren't filming it and putting it on social media just to get likes.
No, exactly. If my local copper had got hold of me back in the day, it would have been gripped by the ear, marched home to the house, and then that was justice served, and that would have been fully sorted out.
I only ever got in trouble once for something. I was sitting outside. I had a friend who was sitting outside my house, and he was throwing stones into the road, and I wasn't even doing it. And he threw a stone and hit a car, and my parents came out, and he went back home. And my parents gave me what you would call when you're grounded. They grounded me for 3 days, and I was like, I never threw the stone, and they were like, we don't care. Like,
yeah.
And if I'd wandered around with a catapult at 14, shooting catapults at stuff, I can't imagine what would have happened to me, because just by association, I got grounded for 3 days because someone else was throwing stones at cars. Right?
Oh God, I remember when I must have been about 6 or 7, and I launched a stone into the road and hit a van, and the van driver stopped and dragged me to my house, and my mum gave me a whooping. But now, I guarantee if you went home, it would be someone else's fault, the teacher or something else.
What happened? People going, well, I didn't do anything because I was just so terrified they might have a knife or something else. I'm just saying, that's what people say.
That's what I know. It's what everyone says.
All I'm saying is what people say. I'm not saying they've got them. Or
it annoys me so much.
I'm just saying that's what people say.
Too much reliance on everyone else to sort out your problems. Go and fucking do it yourself.
Get involved. Wade
and
in.
Learn how to take a knife off someone. There's some really good YouTube videos of a man that shows how to take guns off people. It definitely won't get you killed. Go and.
I've seen that guy. Doesn't he talk them down though?
It's like, and you just grab it, or you move your seat back in the car and then grab the gun over the thing, and it's like, some people have done parodies of it, and they go to do it, and it's just clouds and they're angels. And he's like, oh, damn it! So
you always think of that thing if someone holds a gun at you, do that cool thing where you turn it around on them. But I just think, you probably would.
Krav Maga. Yeah, absolutely not. So, what's been at my arse is the breakdown of modern British society. How about you, Duncan? What's been in your glass? What's been in your arse?
I think what's been in my glass has been pretty simple. I went to a wedding over the weekend. Good friend got married, another one.
At least it was in calendar this time. Well done.
Yeah, it's in the calendar. Yeah, lovely day. Beautiful day out in West Norfolk, somewhere close to a place called Fakenham. Lovely venue. All the when you go to a wedding and it's all in one place, so you haven't got to get in the car and drive. So as soon as you turn up, you're like, I can get on the booze. This is great. I'm not going anywhere until my wife decided she was going to drive. So it was a lovely day. But what I did do is I took along a bottle of Highland Park. It was one of those ones from the Whiskey Barrel where it's got like, I sent you a picture of it. It's got, I don't know, they're on the moon or something playing golf or something along that. Anyway, it's definitely Highland Park. Not the best Highland Park I've ever tried. I hadn't tried it until that point. I mean, obviously I got him a bottle of whiskey for as his wedding gift and some other stuff. But just for the table, I thought, they know they've got a bar. I know they're going to have put wine on the table and anything else. I just thought, do you know what? I'm just going to take a bottle just to stick on the table for whoever wants a dram. I did, and lots of people had a dram of it. So it was nice. It was 15-year-old single cask Highland Park, about 61.8%. Sherry, I think, definitely.
That would have finished some people off of that wedding, mate.
Well, it's funny you should say that. I think some of the lads were a wee bit drunker than I was expecting them to get. Because I forget that, because I drink stronger whiskey sort of regularly, you just get used to it. Yeah. But it's like I can't drink lots of pints. So, made a few people were a bit sort of wobbly-legged later on, which may or may not have been to do with the 61.8% whiskey.
That's like my wedding.
Yeah.
That was like,
I'm dropping like flies.
I can't remember. Anyway.
But there was another whiskey on the table, I think from like Lidl or something like that, like a sort of Speyside type one, as a sort of 18, 19, 20 quid, 40% ones. And so we were all trying to guess what it was. And I was like, it was definitely 40%, probably Speyside, I think it was.
Yeah.
So there was that and the other one. But other than that, it wasn't really much. What's been up my arse was from the same day. Like when it got a bit later on in the day, I got a bit clever and we went up and they didn't have Guinness on draft or whatever, but I fancied the odd can of Guinness just to sort of temper things, like our little reset. So I was having a Guinness. Sean there, actually, he whiskey milled over a bottle of Talisker Parley X for €30 from the continent. So that was a great
madness.
That was like slipped over to me. So buying some Guinnesses and I was like, oh, let's put Tia Maria in it. Okay, fair enough. Oh, let's put Bailey's in it. No, that's a terrible idea.
Oh, no.
So
What the fuck?
Bailey's went in it and it immediately curdled. Right?
Yep.
So there's all these sort of like dirty pints of Guinness with Tia Maria and Bailey's in them. I'm just looking at people going, you are going to drink it. You will drink it. It was really bad. It was like little bits in your mouth as you were getting through it. But other than that, it's been a good week. Yeah, it's been a really good week. Just been really hectic. Like just loads of like driving, back and forth, busy things going on,
Painting,
packing, painting, work,
all the P's.
Yeah, but I really like the wedding because it's really nice when you can go and share a bottle of whiskey with a bunch of people, especially your friends.
Yeah.
A lot of my friends are at the wedding. And I had a nice cigar, sat on a bench outside, the sun was setting. As the sun was setting, I had a nice tumbler of whiskey. And I sat smoking a Partagas Millefleur just on the bench, smoked for ages.
It sounds like we should have like the last of the summer wine music playing
Yeah.
while you're chatting this
Well,
through.
funny enough, this venue had like a folly in the background. So I don't know what that is. It's some sort of like part of a castle or something else or something stone, like huge. And it was lit up at night. And it was really big grounds, loads of grass. And it was just one of those really nice places. Like you could have happily spent a whole day there, which is what we did, right?
How far is that from the English whiskey distillery, do you reckon?
Ooh, that's a good shout. Maybe 40 minutes because,
Still the correct county though, right?
Yeah, it was in Norfolk. Yeah, it was in Norfolk. Yeah,
Could be a good tasting venue.
And also in my glass now, I've got a Glencadam 17-year-old Reserva PX twice, Sherry quarter cask finish 46% from the lovely The Whiskey Bloke, or we know him as John from Chingford. Yeah, so when I went round to pick up some drams for me, slipped me a couple, so I thought I'd try this one first before we get into these rums, because I'm not going to lie to you, Mike, I'm terrified a bit of these rums. It's not my bag.
As you know, Duncan, I have confused rum for whiskey recently, and I fucking love it.
You may not know the difference, right?
Yeah, exactly.
So this Glencadam 17-year-old, just really classy, really classy dram.
Is that current?
Yeah, it's current.
Current bottling.
I think they've reduced it in some places to £100, so it's still quite pricey for a 17-year-old PX sherry quarter cask.
Oh, yeah. Saying that.
I don't know
the ABV?
It's a bit 46%. It's got a bit more richness to it, maybe than like, for example, a Tamdu 15 or something. But I don't know if I would pay the extra when I could get Tamdu 15 for sort of 75 quid, if you see what I mean. But it's nice, PX, but it's not, if I was to be, it's lovely, John, to be clear, don't hate on me, but I don't feel like this is substantially that different, for example, to, you can still get the Old Perth PX.
Oh, Perth, yeah. That's right.
That Old Perth PX has got much stronger notes of like vanilla and blackcurrant coming through, quite punchy, but still incredibly smooth, like a velvet glove. So if I was going to get like a glove, if I was going to get like a PX whiskey, and I was looking for sort of bang for your buck, I would suspect if you put them side by side in a blind, people still might go for that PX Old Perth. But hey, what do I know? But so this is good, classy. I've only had a wee bit of it, just John. I've only had a tiny pour, and I'll save the rest for a classier moment, maybe another cigar or something like that.
Yeah, another castle.
Yes, that's good. But other than that, I don't think I've tried that much whiskey this week. I had a few days off. Yeah, just keeping things chill, right? Before a busy weekend and a couple of a heavy night. I love a day session.
Yeah.
When I'm on
wedding sessions are.
When I look back and people say, when you're in your last moments or whatever, and people say what they regret, they wish they'd done more of. I'm going to say day drinking sessions. That's why.
We should have done more drinking.
More day drinking. So we said today we would talk about smoking the Banditti. But before we get into that, we want to say a big shout out to Sam Swindles. I think it's Swindles. He bought us 3 drams. Thanks so much on Buy Us a Coffee, which is much appreciated.
Oh, thank you, Sam.
Yeah, this is also worth saying, if you do like the podcast, we had a lovely podcast last time with Rachel Vaughan-Jones, which was a good laugh.
Yeah.
She's a class act for Compass Box. But if you're enjoying the episodes, just give us a 5-star review. It helps to spread the word and helps to get the pod out there for people, and we appreciate it a lot. Yeah. So talk to me, Mike. Smokey and the Bandit.
Class,
right?
I remember having it. Well, my dad had it on VHS, and I watched it multiple times.
Yeah.
Multiple times when I was growing up, and then I've gone back into it as a sort of adult, looking back reminiscently, and it's fucking class.
It was the kind of film they used to put on weekends that you would watch 3-4 o'clock on a Sunday with your dad.
Yeah.
Just be on terrestrial TV.
Yeah. It's one of those ones that should never have actually been a success, or wasn't probably meant to be a success, if you know what I mean. It's probably just being made just to have a laugh more than to make money, but turned out to be an absolute, like, not even a cult classic, just a classic. And
it was a cult classic, I think, because there was all that like banter. It was quite charming with them between the crew, obviously.
Yeah.
Burt Reynolds, a bit iconic, right? I'm not going to claim to be some sort of massive Smokey and the Bandit fan. I'm not like some sort of trivia expert on the film. It just reminds me of Sunday weekends, like where you've been to probably, in fact, you had Sunday lunch, you've been to the pub with Dad, played some pool, had Sunday lunch. It's about 3-4 o'clock or whatever, maybe 5 o'clock. Film comes on the TV. It's Smokey and the Bandit, whatever it is, 1, 2, 3. I'm sure there was more than one, and it's an easy watch.
There's probably more, because what I always, whenever I think Smokey and the Bandit, I automatically think of the other VHS in the collection, Cannonball Run.
Yes,
and those were amazing films. Absolutely hilarious. Another Burt Reynolds classic.
That's because they were sort of light entertainment, weren't they? Like,
yeah.
I think that's really what it's about.
Yeah, really good. But yeah, so it kind of led on to us having a little discussion then about the best car chases.
Yeah, in movie history.
Yeah, and obviously there are thousands and thousands, but you found an article.
Oh, I looked at several lists, haven't we? Like,
what was the main one you looked at, just in case anyone wanted to peruse?
Gosh, we looked at The Ringer,
The Ringer, that
Hollywood Reporter, and Movie Web, and just asked ourselves the question: what do we actually think should be in there? I immediately said Ronin.
Yeah,
right?
Both of us, I think, instantly.
We said Ronin. It was like Jinx moment. We're like Ronin, and then we just sat, put it on and pressed play at the same time, and just watched the whole 8-minute car chase.
Yeah, which is outstanding. And I think the camera being at the front of the car, kind of not quite fixed, but near enough fixed at the front of the old BMW and stuff. Because that's the other thing, the actual cars in that show now, on the movie now, you look back, film, should I say, as we are British.
Film, yeah.
You got obviously a M7 souped up BMW sports car, and then we're meant to believe the magic of Hollywood that a Peugeot 406 is in any way going to keep up with it.
Like
in the streets.
It's filmed in France, though, isn't it? So most of the cars are French on the roads. That's what it's like in France. They all drive French cars. Even today, they still largely drive French vehicles.
Yeah,
right. They're
just class.
Buying.
You go past and every single one was like a 106 Saxo.
Yeah, that's it. We were watching it.
Spas.
That's it. We're watching it, and Mike's just shouting out the cars that you can see. He's going. Spas, Saxo,
and you went Land Rover.
I went Land Rover. Yeah, it's really good. It's a good car chase. It's very intense, and also, the car that's being chased is being driven by a lady who, for 8 minutes, is an incredible driver. So a forward-thinking film.
Very forward-thinking. Dear Lord.
Although it's annoying though, because she has the window slightly open and her hair is constantly flying about. You would have shut the window, wouldn't you? I mean,
the noise, the debris from all the crashes.
Yeah. And there's a couple of Scottish guys in the back, and I said to Mike that one looks like Ian Allen. Little bit, not exactly, not 100%, but
close enough for a joke.
Close enough for a joke reference. Yeah. So it's a really good car chase. It's quite intense, isn't it? It's a lot of like dodging oncoming traffic, and I don't think it's as good as the first time I watched it. I remember the first time I ever watched that, thinking that was really got me in my chest.
Yeah, but I think that would have been genuine driving. Probably a lot of the stuff you see now is all CGI'd as well. So everything you saw there would have been real.
Yeah, I don't think they're all CGI'd. But hey, that brings me on to, so what's the first thing we've got in our glass in the Banditti Club rum?
So I am picking up the barrel-aged golden rum, aged in virgin oak for 3 years.
52.
Natural colour, natural footed, 52.1%. And the nose is not great.
We should caveat this. First off, don't drink and drive. Secondly, it's okay to drink and watch car chases if you're at home, right?
It's safe.
And thirdly, we're not really huge rum fans. We're really grateful for these samples, but we also thought it'd be interesting because we haven't really tried much rum. And, is whiskey the greatest spirit ever? Yeah, of course it is. Spoiler alert. But, every now and then you need to dip your toe in the water and ask yourself if you like rum or not.
Nose-wise, it is. pineapple and stuff on there, but I do get sort of a proper warehouse funk.
Huge weird funk, just really weird
on there. So the nose is not enticing me.
I think there's a bit of something slightly sort of burnt in it, and some butterscotch, loads of pineapple. Like, you know when pineapple's gone overripe and it's gone a bit weird?
Fizzy pineapple.
Yeah, it could be. I think it's one of those things, it's like, you know when there's something really unpleasant, but the more you smell it, the more you like it, and then you can't stop sniffing it. Yeah. It might be a bit like that. It's a bit of a love-hate relationship I'm having with the nose right now.
When your finger goes through the poo bag and you can smell it on your hands for 2 days, even though it's not actually there. It
feels like it's wrong, but maybe I'm sort of getting around to it. It's ultra sweet, isn't it? And very intense.
Yeah. But when you taste it, really bloody delicious.
That might be the secret with rum. Maybe the secret with rum is just don't smell it. Just drink it. You know, can't imagine pirates on a boat with it stormy and, you know, the winds are whipping by and the seas.
What are you getting on it?
You know, going, oh, careful, the sea's getting in my Glencairn.
Yeah, but good point though, because it is super salty, super tropical, just really, really nice.
It's actually it's beautiful on the palate, really beautiful.
Yeah,
it's sweet, yeah, salty. It's weird. It's salty, isn't it?
Super salty, yeah.
How's that happened?
Maybe they added sea salt.
So yeah, sweet, salty,
tropical.
I think tropical and butterscotch. That's kind of my view. I think you're right with the pineapple shout, like sort of pineapple. I think there's also ever such a slight herby note, like the tiniest herbiness to it.
There is definitely something in there.
I really like the palate. That's a really good drop for any time of the year. But the nose is just
don't
a
smell
bit
it.
Weird.
Nose is well off for me, but
I'm smelling it again, Mike. That's the problem. It's weird.
Yeah,
it's weird. I'm like, I can't decide if I like it or I don't like it. I like the taste. I can't decide if I like or dislike the nose.
It's probably when, like, in 2 days' time, you're like, I really want to smell that smell again. What was it? Oh, it was the rum.
I think it's going to become like a perversion for me. So, what's your next favourite car chase in a movie then?
We watched it. Another one I sort of forced you to watch.
Yeah.
Blues Brothers. The shopping mall scene is just brilliant.
It's cool. I give it that.
I genuinely thought that was done on like a film set, but you told me it was actually filmed in a mall that was being shut down or something. Or
it was being shut down, and they got the sign off to go and just drive through it as they wished. So
that's brilliant.
The set was the mall. It wasn't a movie set. Yeah.
That's amazing, and
it makes it cooler.
It's the dry comedy. The pair of them just sort of going through naming shops and like, this mall has got everything, just as they're absolutely trashing the entire place.
It's more that light-hearted type car chase, isn't it? It's like not that intense, really, you know.
Yeah.
But the music before as well, they get pulled over by the police, don't they? They're like, you know, they get pulled over by the police and then they end up in a car chase and then they go into the mall. So yeah, definitely the music makes it. It's fucking absolutely class. But how about you? You must have some others. Do you know what? I was trying to think of one that's really just got me sort of a bit breathless. And I can't remember which Bourne film it's from. It might be the Bourne Ultimatum. But one of them, he gets in a Mini and he basically goes, God, tyres are a bit splashy on this. It's a bit splashy if the tyre's been done or something. And because he's like, I think maybe it's the first one. I really can't. I've seen all three of them, but I couldn't tell you which exact film it's from. It's one of the Bourne films. And he gets in this car, and it's just when they've sort of established him as this sort of like semi-machine. You know, like in the first scene in the first film, he's in some sort of cafe or whatever, and he's like reading every situation. And it's a bit like that when he gets in the car. He's like very robotic about it. He's like going through this series of questions, and it's him and passenger. And in this Mini, he just drives. It's an exhilarating drive around whichever city it's in. I think that might be France as well. And then there's another bit when he like double wraps the seatbelt round, which I've never fully understood. So basically, I think something wrong with the seatbelt won't, and then he just double wraps it round himself, like before they crash.
Safety first.
And I remember thinking, I'm still not 100% sure what he's done. And occasionally I sort of think, if I was in the same predicament as him and I couldn't plug the seatbelt in, what was it he did? Like, how did he double wrap it around himself? Would that work?
We have established, according to your missus, you're a panicker on the road, so no, you would not do that. That's guaranteed.
That's true. I am a bit of a panicker. Yeah. If I'm not driving, I'm panicking.
It was a good lead in there because you've obviously mentioned the Mini there.
Yeah.
How can you have car chases without the Italian job?
Yeah.
Absolutely. The original, obviously, not the fucking
the original
version.
one.
Beautiful.
Along the coast and stuff,
scenes.
right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Driving on top of is it stadium or museum or something? They're on the roof having the chase. Just classic. Yeah, that's one.
Well, I thought about, I'm just going back to this barrel-aged virgin oak. And I think the nose has gone slightly perfumey now as well. There's more to it than I'm used to getting in rum, which is what I would say is a big compliment. So when I try rum, often they can just be sort of 2 or 3 kind of flavours, but this might have a few hidden depths to it.
Do you know what that funk has massively lessened?
Definitely salty, slightly herbal, loads of pineapple, a little bit something like butterscotch, maybe a tiny bit of vanilla. Or maybe
what about the Madeira? Dive straight into the next ones. For
I'll have a crack into that. So I really like the film Drive. Have you seen Drive?
I believe I have. Is that where they get obsessed with crashing or something?
No, that's What's Crash.
That Then no, I don't think I've seen Drive.
Yeah, this is Ryan Gosling. It's got loads of 80s music in it, so it's got really foreboding 80s music in it. And even though it's a driver, the film's not really about that. It's kind of a bit about that. It's about it's one of those films where he doesn't say much. Do you remember the old spaghetti westerns where Clint Eastwood would not say much at all? Yeah, he's cool. He doesn't talk much. It's more about how his face holds the screen, but it does have a car chase in it. And he has to outrun, the police or whatever. And he goes, through intersections and under bridges and whatever else it is, ending up at some sort of basketball, where they've been playing basketball. And it's just a really clean, cool car chase. It might be one of the coolest drives in a film. Yeah. So, in Ronin, it's a bit intense. De Niro's trying to be cool.
Super intense.
Yeah, but De Niro's got that he's doing what I was trying not to do at that whiskey show the other day. He's just got his chin back like that, so he's got a double chin the whole time. I'm sure he regrets that. I'm sure if he ever watches it back, he's like, "Why did I do that? I've got a double chin the whole time."
Why did I do that? Just to look relaxed.
Yeah, but I think Drive it would be one of mine. It's basically it's like an art house film. It's really arty, super 80s, super stylish, and he's just mega cool, right?
But that attitude, driving wise, is also in Baby Driver.
Yeah, I've only seen that once.
The kid's he's a little freak, isn't he? Kid.
Yeah. No, I've seen it once.
Headphones in, music on, headphones in, smashing around in an old Scooby.
That's right.
Really, really good driving scenes on that. It's fantastic driving.
That might be the most creative. That might be one of the best driving sequences ever made, basically. But not the overall film. Yeah, isn't as good as some of the other films that we're talking about.
No, fucking right.
It's not as good as Ronin, right?
Dire. Yeah.
Exactly. So the driving sequences are probably better than the film, aren't they? Whereas I think with Drive, the film is genuinely brilliant. If I just wanted to watch a driving sequence, then I get what you're saying. Okay, yeah, Baby Driver, well up there. What do you think of this Madeira Banditti Clum Rub then? Club rum?
Clum rub. I love a clum rub. Did you pay extra for that?
The club rub. Club rub. This is based on what we've heard about Glasgow Whiskey Festival. Might be getting a rub.
Yeah. Good. Coconuts, Turkish Delight, all sorts of shit going on there.
Turkish Delight.
Yeah, right at the back. Super.
There's a sort of when you make that cold jelly. That sort of cold jelly notes in there.
It's a stupid comparison because it's clearly not, but there's links in with, for me, a pina colada. Those kind of similar notes.
I haven't tasted it yet, but I get what you're saying about coconut shavings for sure. Totally get the Turkish Delight. I feel like there's cold jelly. It's less funk in this one on the nose.
Way less funk. Super astringent in comparison to the last one.
Oh gosh, yeah.
Much more astringent. But 54.6, more ABV, virgin oak for 3 years. So that'll be the oak influence, I guess.
It's finished in Madeira. This one's a bit sharper, isn't it, on the palate? This one actually feels a bit closer to a whiskey on the palate than the other one.
Definitely.
The other one is just pure rum.
Yeah.
This one would be harder to tell. I'm just saying that somebody, I don't know who, somebody who might have mistaken a whiskey for rum in the past. This one could have caught you out, Mike, in a blind tasting, right?
100%. I would say that would catch a lot of people out.
You can tell it's rum on the nose, but on the palate, it's much harder to tell what spirit.
But if you were expecting a whiskey and you were given that, I don't think you would go, this is a rum.
It's much harder to tell it's a rum on the palate. It's much easier on the nose. So if you didn't really smell it too much and just sipped it, yeah, you probably wouldn't. Maybe so sure.
Nice.
Some vanilla, still some of the coconut. Yeah, it's pretty good. I mean, both of them are pretty good so far. Just that's really wacky, that barrel aged one.
That's definitely
the golden one.
The Madeira one, I would say, is a sipper. You want to actually get into that and think about it a little bit, whereas that barrel aged golden rub, you just want to see it off because that is tasty.
Yeah, that's a fair comment. I think I prefer the golden rum so far, but we'll see. So, other car chases.
Fast and Furious. Can't talk about it without mentioning that.
Yeah, well, but which one though? I mean, there's like 10.
The original. Yeah,
the original.
It's probably like fucking 20 by now. The original one. I remember driving home from watching that in the cinema, and I was going up Cardiff Bay, and it's like back to my town. I was in my Citroen Saxo 1.1 Desire, and I was redlining that bad boy at least 40 miles an hour, thinking I was in the film.
Yeah. And
that was responsible for quite a lot of sets of tyres on my piece of shit car. Or my mum's piece of shit car, as I should say.
It's always good when you've got a car that you can't drive fast enough. It doesn't matter how fast you drive it, you still can't cause any real problems.
First gear, that thing was friggin' rapid for first gear in comparison to other cars. Right. Super quick in first. Then it was nothing.
Topped out.
So, which leads me to believe it probably would have been quite quick in reverse as well. That film class, nothing like it at the time. Again, the scenes with the NOS going into the car, now it looks shit and it's all CGI, but at the time it was proper heart thumping, like really got the adrenaline going, just outstanding chases and really, really good cars as well.
Yeah. I mean, amazing cars. I mean, I still remember when they're doing like the quarter miles and stuff, and like that, you know, the front wheels are lifting off the ground just based on the power of the car. Yeah. Right, you know, you can't say that's not cool, right? I mean, that is really cool.
Well, I was in a quarter mile race in San Diego.
Really?
Yeah, inadvertently got involved in one. We had a Dodge Ram 3500 van, like a 15-seater van, and it was rapid, but was just weighed about fucking 20 ton, but still had so much power. And we went to watch these like car things, and someone went, "Oh, go on, get involved." So we lined up. And yeah, for about 4 meters, we were like neck and neck. And then he just absolutely blasted us. But everyone was like laughing and cheering as we just went past.
Hey, I just had a look, and it's claimed that the best Fast and the Furious car chase is in Fast and the Furious 5. When they
don't know what they're talking about.
But they're saying it's after Dominic Toretto, Vin Diesel, his crew steal 100 million from a Brazilian kingpin, and they drag the entire bank vault, holding the money through the streets of Rio de Janeiro, all while being pursued by authorities. I think I've definitely seen the first 6 or so, and I think I sort of stopped watching them after that. I'm not saying I wouldn't.
I think I stopped at 2. It kind of blurs. I don't think there was that many car chases.
There was more racing than car chases, but they had more racing than car chases in the early ones, because that was more about racing, and it became about sort of car chases later on, didn't it? I think. I'm not saying there wasn't.
It just went chef the first one, really, if I'm honest.
Right. There was a series on Netflix for a while where they created, like, they went to some island and people would come out with their cars and they would drive around sort of a salt course. And I'm trying to remember what it was called. It was genuinely incredible.
Top Gear?
No. It was just pure racing. They'd have they'd have to be doing donuts for bits of it, and there was one where they were balancing. They had to drive up these big sort of scales, and they had to get the right balance points. And it was really a huge car assault course, which involved all of the driving skills, and that was basically the whole reason that got off the ground was because of the passion for films like The Fast and the Furious, right? And the car culture that it created after that for street racing. So basically, this was a street racing course with obstacles and other things. Like they would have like a water section where people would go through it too. So these not all the people were completing this course. I'd have to look up what it was called. I'll do that in a second. But not all of them were completing it. You know, their cars would get like clogged with water or too damaged, or they'd get the balance thing wrong. There was lots of cars getting like written off or seriously damaged. and they all had completely different cars. So it wasn't like, a like for like. It was
I bet
whatever
they
it
were
was
like, that
whatever
was their
streetcar they
baby as
wanted
well.
to do. They bring whatever they want. There was a guy from, it would be like someone from Japan in like, some cool like Japanese car, and there was like someone from American Muscle.
Oh, nice.
They got all these people from around the world. Yeah, I'll have a look to see if I
Yeah.
can remember what it was. It was actually one of the best things I've seen on TV.
Period.
Well, it was very good. I think there was only 2 series. In some way, it was partially. I think Charlize Theron was involved in it.
Was she?
Yeah, kind of. But I can't for the life of me remember what it was actually called now. It's just really. Has that ever happened to you? You just can't remember at all.
All the time.
It's like.
That's 2 episodes in a row. It's the rock band that doesn't exist, the song that you can't remember, and now this TV show you've made up.
Oh, goodness me, I have made it up.
You've like dreamed it.
Imagine if it didn't exist. I think it might be called Hyperdrive.
Okay.
8 elite street racers from around the world test their limits in the supercharged custom cars on the biggest, baddest automotive obstacle course ever built. TV series 2019, that sounds about right. 8 out of 10. Yes, Hyperdrive. I fully recommend. If you're listening to the pod, I strong recommend. And I think there was only 2 series of it. Yeah, that's definitely it. 100%. Do you know what? I actually want to rewatch that now. That's how good it was.
I've got a space series has come up on mine with Nick Frost. I don't think that's it.
Definitely called Hyperdrive. I mean, it's not difficult to find now. And I think there was 2 series of it, possibly. Definitely 1 series, if nothing else. Oh my God. Michael Bisping was one of the commentators from UFC. It was crazy. The whole show was crazy.
No way.
I think it probably just cost them too much money to make it, which is why they didn't continue it, because I can't believe people wouldn't have kept watching it. It was that good, right? So, good. Charlize Theron was the executive producer. I was right. I remembered something.
No way.
Yeah.
Well done.
Thank you. Thanks for that.
Right, PX Sherry Rum, go.
Oh, we're back to Dram 1 with a sort of over funky.
That's like a nice combo between.
Yeah, it's somewhere between the PX and the weird funk, isn't it?
Buckets of raisins, though.
Buckets of raisins and the red fruit coming through, and the weird funk and the pineapple. So it's like,
that's nice.
Do you know what? That one's much more balanced on those because of it. Somehow the PX has tempered that sort of bizarre rum funk warehouse.
That smells like
overripe pineapple
bakery, where they've got like pineapple turnovers, but they've also got like pano raisins and stuff in there.
I'm going in for a taste straight away. Yeah, I quite like that. Again, slightly herby.
Definite herbal note.
Bags of vanilla.
If you're going skiing, that is what you want in your hip flask. In the morning after you fucking hungover to fuck, you've just face planted off a mountain and you need something to just get you back into it. That's the boy. No Jägermeister, forget that. That's the one. That is a ski trip dram.
It's sweet.
Right there.
Sweet, very sweet, slightly herby. Bags of vanilla. PX is
55%,
coming.
loads of booze.
I'd say the PX has reared its head a bit. You know, it's like you said raisins on the nose, but I think on the palate, the PX is sort of hiding below that kind of pineapple, vanilla. No, it's just coming through a little bit, isn't it? Yeah. Oh my God.
That's my favourite of the 3.
Is it?
Yep.
Yeah, it might be my favourite. On a hunch, I'm going to say this, then the golden rum, then the Madeira.
Yeah, I'd agree.
But because of how much I'm confused by the nose on the golden rum, I kind of feel like maybe that's the one I would buy, because I just sit there sniffing it going, I just can't decide.
I don't know. Don't ever like it.
And I never like it.
Keep going back in.
Just a bit more. Oh my gosh. Strong recommend on the Batman 2022. There's a car chase in that, isn't there, through the streets in the souped up vehicles.
Haven't seen it.
You must have done. There's the one when they go through the underpart. There's a car chase and they've got the vans.
I gave up on Batman after
what?
Dark Knight. What was the one with Heath Ledger? It's the last one I seen.
You didn't watch the one before?
I got a bit disengaged after Batman Returns.
Right, okay. Oh, fair enough.
When Kilmer came in and fucked it up.
I'm sure people.
Maybe I am a film critic.
I'm sure people listening will come up with many more car chases than we were able to.
Well, do you know what is sad?
Go on.
In 20 years' time, this conversation won't really happen, because they'll be like, "Oh, do you remember the car chase scene?" And you're like, "Yeah," and you've there's going to be no old BMWs, no Mustangs. It's going to be
controlled electric cars. We've seen the future. Did you watch iRobot, when all the cars are controlled and stuff, and they just all go around at a set speed?
No, but that's now. If you look at
but I mean, it's even worse than iRobot. If you want to see the true future, watch that. I mean,
Yeah. Have you seen that clip in San Francisco where the self-driving Ubers, there's basically a huge car park full of, I think they're Jaguar I-Paces is what they use. And one of the cars has basically tried to go out while the other was reversing. Another car has come into the car park. They've all gone, there's going to be a crash. And they basically all freak out. And there's basically like 20 cars just trying to maneuver around each other, all driven by robots. And it's just absolute carnage. I'm like, that's your future, right? That's it now. That's today. But,
yeah, you're right. There won't be as many car chases. There has to be a car chase movie or film, if you're English, with Tom Cruise in. There just has to be something. But I can't think
Mission
of one.
Impossible has had loads of bike ones. And
I don't
really
think bike ones
chases.
really count because it's not strictly a car chase. It's a bike chase. That's why I'm not going to say Terminator 2 Judgment Day, because he's chasing the kids on a bike, and then
have you seen this boy?
Robert Patrick's in a lorry or whatever.
He switches, doesn't it?
And then, Arnie's on the chopper, isn't he? Or some sort of Harley or something.
Get to the chopper! I don't think that's the same film, but I like it.
But it's a great scene. It's a great film through the storm concrete things that are supposed to channel water. But it's not strictly in cars. So,
but if we're going down with slightly straying off the rules.
No, I'm saying no. I'm saying stick to the rules, but go on then.
I know, but can you beat the not technically a car chase, Father Ted and the milk float scene?
where it gets stuck with like a brick on it.
If it goes under, yes, the speed.
It's based on speed, isn't it? Oh, that's
if it goes under, if it drops below 3 miles an hour,
father. Yeah, that's a really good scene. Yeah, and he has just going round on it for like.
Yeah.
In a serious scene though, I went to the cinema to watch Death Proof, and it does have a really kind of like edgy car chase in it where someone's like attached to the bonnet and they're like flinging round, and it's Kurt Russell. I think he's got an eye patch on or something like that, and he's certainly evil in it. And so Kurt Russell is like trying to run some other car.
He's got an eye patch. He's evil.
Yeah, well, anyone with an eye patch. He's probably drunk Banditti rum, right? Because pirate. So yeah, he's like chasing them, and they're both in American muscle cars, and he's chasing them, and he's trying to knock them off the road. And it's a bit weird, but it's quite a good car chase. And Death Proof is a Tarantino film, one of the less known Tarantino movies.
Don't think I've seen it.
Yeah, because it's like he made kind of B movies, so he made a few. So actually, they showed at the cinema back to back. So what they did was they showed that one back to back with another B movie, and you paid the ticket and you got to go and watch both of them, right? So one was about somebody with a gun for a leg or whatever, and the other one was called Death Proof, about these women in cars or something like that. I can't really remember. I can't remember all films, but top car chase in it. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, if you can think of any other car chases, do get a conversation going online, because I like reminiscing and looking at sort of trailers and clips and stuff on YouTube.
Yeah, we've probably forgotten loads, haven't we? By the way,
I guarantee,
Mike, there's mint in this PX sherry cask.
What, in your glass?
On the nose, I'm getting a sort of
there is
spearmint or mint type thing, quite profound.
So not only is it
Vanilla,
a good ski dram,
mint,
you can brush your teeth with it.
I'll tell you what, that's really good.
That is the one.
But you know,
I'm going to go back to that at Christmas and start putting that out there, because for ski season, people need the bottle of this to take away on their trips.
I could see that. I've enjoyed all three of them. I think that probably I'm being a bit snobbish about rum, but I've enjoyed them a lot. And I do have a sweet tooth, so it satisfies that kind of sweet tooth craving on the palate. And they're not too sweet, because at least two of them had sort of slightly herby note in them. But don't think like bad herby, like you're making your dinner or putting some tarragon in or whatever. Just a little bit, just to sort of temper some of the sweetness, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah, really, really good. So your final order, you're going PX, right?
PX, then barrel-aged golden rum, and then the ex-Madeira wine cask finish.
I think I'll agree with you, but maybe my dark side wants to say that I thought the barrel-aged golden rum was my favourite. Yeah.
They're switching, because that, again, a little bit of time could change, because that barrel-aged golden rum changed in 5 minutes.
Yeah.
Totally. So, yeah, be interesting to play with these.
Yeah, definitely.
Maybe we should have got full bottles.
Yeah, thanks so much for Glasgow Distillery for sending us these samples. Hugely appreciated.
If you'd like us to rip any more of your...
I feel like I'm a bit scared that I might get into rum because obviously with a whiskey habit already,
I could easily get into that, like, honestly. If I go skiing again, unlikely with my current physical capabilities, that will be coming with a full bottle of that, because that is going to perk everyone up. You could throw that in a coffee or a hot chocolate. Put that PX in a hot chocolate first thing in the morning. Oh my God.
You could do coffees with anything. I mean, I could have a drop of the PX one in a coffee easy, but it's lovely on its own. I think even though they're quite high ABVs, they all drink really easily. But, we do drink high strength alcohol often. Yeah. So we're maybe not the best judge of that.
Drink responsibly, people.
Yeah, drink responsibly. Don't drink when you're driving. Drink responsibly.
Do drink while watching car chases.
Exactly. Do drink whilst watching car chases. It's mandatory, right?
And go back and watch Father Ted from season 1 onwards.
Yeah. All right, man.
That's got to be the last word of the pod. You can check out the website at www.honestomalt.com. We're on social medias at honestomalt. Duncan's on at whiskey tip. I'm at whiskey wings, and we will catch you on the next one. Thank you for listening. Bye bye bye.
Glasgow, eh? Bye.